Okay, before we get started, what's another way to write that? Matt?
25%.
25%. Is there another way? Mason?
0.25.
0.25.
Get it?
We agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, keep that in mind when we get going today. You can write it any way you want. If you're gonna write it as a fraction though, what are we gonna expect? Simplest form. If we're gonna do it into a percent, I'm gonna expect you to round properly, okay? Okay, new vocabulary word. Probability. This is an event, is a number that measures the likelihood that the event will occur. So if we were talking about a die, 6 sides, how many possible outcomes do we have? 6, 1 through 6. If I say I want to roll a 2, what is the probability that I do that?
1 out of 6.
1 out of 6. So how many ways can we write that?
Yeah.
1/6. Well, how else can I write it?
1/6.
Well, that's my 1/6.
Um,
What's that as a percent?
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I meant.
And what is it as a decimal?
0.17. Bam.
Okay, everyone agree with that? So if they ask for probability, that's how we would do it. If they ask you to describe the probability of an event, if there is a 0% chance of it happening, it's impossible, right? If it's 100%, it's certain. If it's 50%, that means it's equally likely to happen or not happen. If you're in between 0 and 50%, it is unlikely. If you're greater than 50% but less than 100, it will be likely. Everyone got those terms? So if I told you to describe the likeliness of an event that is 75% chance of happening, how would you describe it, Ty?
It's probably gonna happen.
What word did we use?
More than likely. Likely.
Likely. Okay?
Certain? I like that word. Why does it start with a C?
Okay. So if there is an 80% chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, describe the likelihood of the event. So the probability is 80%. So it is likely, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh. Is that what they say it on the news channel?
Number 1, the probability that Yolandi jump on a snowboard is 1/2. Zach, describe the likelihood of that event.
50%.
Okay,
Possible.
well, that's the probability is 50%.
Oh, possible.
So describe it
Possible.
without using numbers.
Possible.
Equal?
Equally likely as unlikely, right?
Yes.
Use a number.
Okay. There's a 100% chance that the temperature will be less than 120 degrees Fahrenheit tomorrow.
Certain.
It is certain.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. It's
I
not
hope it
gonna be that
rains.
warm. Okay.
If it is, the world is
I don't know about that,
ending.
Yeah.
but. Okay. Now, if we want to find the probability of an event, all we're gonna do is the probability of the event is the number of favorable outcomes. So if I want an even number on this die, right?
Yeah.
What number goes on top then? I want an even number on the die. This is 3. Now what's my total number of outcomes? 6. Is that how we're gonna write it? 3/6? How are we gonna write it? 1/2. What if we wanted as a decimal? Point what? 0.5 and a percent? 50%. We have a 6-sided die. You rolled the number cube. What is the probability of rolling an odd number? Maddie, what are my favorable, how many favorable outcomes do I have? Favorable outcomes.
Oh,
I want to roll an odd number.
then there's
3. And what's my total?
6.
Okay. It's just the same one we did, but in reverse, right? And we're going to reduce that to 1/2. The probability that you randomly draw a short straw from a group of 40 straws is 3/20. How many short straws are there?
1.
Do not blurt it out. How are we going to figure this?
Count the straws.
Count the straws.
Yeah.
What if we don't want to count the straws?
Read the problem. It says 40 straws.
What is my probability?
You get 20.
Okay, 3 out of 20. 3/20.
Oh, pi equals.
You just say 3
times
divided by 20.
Well, that's gonna give me a percent or a decimal, right?
Yeah.
But how about we want to know,
This is our formula.
we're reversing it.
Pi equals 3 divided by
We did the formula to find the probability. Now we got the probability. We want to find
It's
out what our
6.
numbers were.
It's 6.
What was our total number of outcomes? Anybody? Kaylee.
40.
So 40. Remember that goes on the bottom, right?
Yep.
Well, I did 40.
Then you get 6.
How many
It's
sides
6.
are
It's 6.
Don't. So we don't know what this is, right?
Yeah, I do.
How do we get there? If that's supposed to be equal to my probability
You have to take 20 times 2 and 3 times 2.
times 2,
Times 3.
how about we cross multiply? What's x times 20?
20x.
What's 40 times 3?
120.
Those are supposed to be equal to each other, right? So how do we get x by ourselves?
20 times 6.
Divided.
Divide it.
Yeah.
So what's 20x divided by 20?
X.
And 120 divided by 6.
6.
6.
There we go. Everyone sees how that happens, right? So in example 2, what is the probability of rolling a number greater than 2? What is the probability of rolling a number greater than 2? How do we figure that?
Take 6.
What goes on top?
4.
Why is 4 on top?
Because that's all that's left.
What do we call those? Our
Favorable.
favorable outcomes. We have 4 of them. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And how many possible outcomes are there? So what do we do next? Reduce our fraction? What's that reduced to? All right. In example 2, what is the probability of rolling a 7? Grace, how are we going to calculate the probability of rolling a 7?
7 over 1.
Why is it 7 over 1, Zach?
So you have to make it into a
Okay.
fraction wheel thing.
We figure our probability how?
With the formula.
What goes on top?
7.
No. Bailey,
1.
why is it 1?
Because there's only 1 7.
1, 7. I got a dice right here. I want you to roll it so you come up with a 7.
Wait, so it'd be 0 then.
Okay, so there's possible outcomes. Our favorable outcomes is 0. What's our possible? Which 0 divided by 6 gives me 0, right? So there's 0 chance to roll a 7 on my dice.
It's 0 over 6.
Well, how can you roll a 7 on this?
You can't.
That's why it's 0. You put your favorable outcomes over your total outcomes, and that's your probability, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The probability that you randomly draw a short straw from a group of 75 straws is 1 over 15. How many are short straws?
You get a double.
Brandon,
What?
start me out. How am I going to do this?
The
What do I start with?
probability.
Which is?
1 out of 15.
1 out of 15. Okay. Connor, what do I do next? You gave me my probability. What else do I know? You said this is my probability. What else do I know on that statement?
75.
What does 75 represent? What do we call that? Someone help them out. What do we call it? The total of what can happen. Well, remember, to get our probability, we did favorable outcomes over what? The possible. So 75 is my possible outcomes. Do we know what our favorable outcomes are, Connor?
No. Yeah.
Well, okay, what are we trying to do? We're trying to draw a short straw. And it's asking us how many short straws. So do we know that?
No.
So we're gonna put X there, right? So how are we gonna solve that if we know those two numbers? Cross multiply, right? What's 15 times X?
15.
And 1 times 75? Divide by 15, right? What do we get on the left?
1. Yeah.
X, but. And what's 75 divided by 15?
I need a calculator for this.
What's it?
This
5. Does that work out? Yes.
What if I just do it a different way?
How did you do it?
75 divided by 15.
Isn't that what I did right there?
Yep, that's longer.
If you can keep your steps straight, you skip them, that's fine. But if you skip the step and I can't see it, and you get the wrong answer. Okay.
Okay.
If we're talking probability, what's the absolute lowest it can be? 0%. What's the highest?
100.
100 what? 100%. So our probability has to be between 0 and 1, correct? Okay. Let's take a break.
What are we doing?
The other blocks did mingle, so we're going to do mingle.
It's still peekaboo.
Mingle, mingle. Whoa.